Local news from local people. This is First News with Toby Howell on News Radio 1029 KARN.
And good Monday morning. Happy May 16th. I'm Rebecca Davis sitting in for Toby Howell today. And today we are talking about taking mental health days. So calling in sick to work is nothing new. We've all done it. But calling in to take a mental health day, well, that's something new and something more companies are honoring. So Khari Bodrick joining us, or the author of By Any Means, joining us today to talk about taking those mental health days. Good morning, Khari. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so we appreciate you being here and talking to us about mental health days, because mental health, it's very important. It's been in the news a lot more about how we all need to acknowledge it, and these mental health days are very important. So, Khari, tell me, is this story a wake-up call for employers everywhere to start talking about mental health days?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a very important topic. Mental health, it includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So, it affects how we think, how we feel, how we act. It determines how we handle stress, how we relate to others when we're at work and how we make these choices. So, mental health is important in every stage of life, from childcare to adolescence to adulthood. So, I'm very, very appreciative that major companies are starting to pay attention to this and, hopefully this continues on the trend for the years to come.
Yeah, I agree with that, too. So we're talking to Khari Bodrick, the author of By Any Means, about taking mental health days. Is there a stigma attached to taking a mental health day? Like if I want to go tell my boss, I'm just really burnt out today, that might give me a little bit of anxiety. Tell us about some of that stigma that's attached to that.
Absolutely. And that's a part of the process. Unfortunately, there is still a stigma attached to it. But I think it's arises just from a lack of understanding, just misinformation. And a lot of this comes from negative attitudes or belief towards it, but this is where the public education comes into play, just to increase their knowledge around mental health. And the majority still of stigma comes from the lack of understanding. So this is a great opportunity for companies to bring in a professional, a mental health advocate or representative from a local nonprofit organization just to speak about this topic and provide ways that they can help.
That would be a great idea. You have somebody come in from a nonprofit to talk to everybody, just kind of like what burnout is, because that was going to be my next question for you. What are some signs of burnout and that you might need to take a mental health day?
Absolutely, absolutely. So when to take one, that's a very good question. Just pretty much a day that doesn't involve, engaging with major sources of stress or frustration. But if you're having these regular one-on-ones with your employees and you have a great relationship with your employees, the best way to monitor is just looking at job performance. If you see somebody is down, or they're not being themselves, they're kind of just alone, or they're not being as social, not as engaged in their activities or standard work practices, then that's a good way to check in on the employee and see what's going on, see if they're all right. You don't want to pay too much attention to it, but also just be mindful of it and loop in ways that you can help from the company's aspect, right? So like if you have an employee assistance program or EAP program, many major companies have these, and this is a way to loop in and let the employee know that, hey, like you care about them inside and outside of work. This also makes that relationship grow stronger going forward.
I agree with that, because then as an employee, you notice, well, my boss saw that I wasn't up to standard, I wasn't doing what I normally do. And then they came and talked to me about it, and you feel cared for and watched after and all those other good things that you want that help with your mental health too. I like that take on it too, Khari. That's a great idea for your boss to not really just go in and probe you like, why are you not acting your best? But hey, I've noticed a little bit of downness. Now also too, so this kind of ties into bosses need to encourage their employees to take these mental health days to avoid the burnout, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what it should be about all the time. I think that I always tell my employees, like, hey, you should make it take 1 month, out of the year. So maybe like you can look at this and say, hey, you need to take a couple weeks vacation, or even if you take one day every month, just making sure that you turn that into a 3-day weekend, maybe a Friday or a Monday, and it's just time to really appreciate yourself and just do things that you enjoy yourself. So anything that can keep your mind off of stress or anxiety, things of that nature. So for me, I like to just go for a swim or a bike ride, or you can either hit the gym, you can go for a hike. It doesn't have to be physical. It can be simply painting or, writing, anything that you enjoy that can get your mind off of the stress and allow you to hit that mental reset button. It's going to be beneficial.
So don't take the mental health day and then continue to do work at home is what you're telling us.
Exactly.
Don't check your email. Don't get online, those sorts of things. Right. For me, I like when I take a mental health day or when I just need a day for myself. Yeah, it's always getting outdoors, something like that, or the self-care because I'm a girl. So, face masks, nails, feet, that sort of thing. Yeah, so take care of yourself out there. Khari Bodrick, thank you so much for joining us, the author of By Any Means, and I appreciate your knowledge on taking mental health days and keeping us all informed. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. No problem. Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful morning. Now it is 6:46, 66 degrees under cloudy skies here.